Every little girl grows up dreaming about her happy ever after, but most of us don't have fairy tale scriptwriters making sure we get it. That's where the Happy Ever After show comes in. If you have been waiting for a fairy godmother to wave her magic wand and release your frustrations, create the prosperity you want, and live a life you love, then listen closely. It's time to learn how to make your own wishes come true with your host, Cassie Parks.
Hello and welcome to this episode of the Happy Ever After show. This season we are talking all about money manifesting and really just welcoming more money into your life so that you can be more successful in business. You know, if you have something that's stopping you, or you have a ceiling on what you think you're worth, or the amount of money that you think you can welcome into your life, then it's going to create problems in your business, because if your business is to make money, you're not going to be able to grow it like you want if you have some hangups about allowing money into your life. So I am really excited that you're here today, because we're talking about one of my favorite things. You know, I know you're listening to this show, this episode, because you want to welcome money into your life without struggle so that you can build your business quicker and easier. And today we're going to talk about one of my favorite things, how money manifests into your life. You know, people have all these ideas. We talked about how people think that money manifests, and maybe you were on that list for the last couple episodes. We've kind of been talking about that. And so I like to talk about how it actually does happen. And you all know, if you've been listening to the show for any amount of time, or you're in the Manifest 10K course, I love to share stories of money manifesting in people's lives, because it opens your brain up. Your brain's like, oh, this is more possible, right? You're like, oh yeah, if it happened to so-and-so, it could happen to me, right? The more evidence you have that money can flow into your life quickly and easily, the more likely it is to flow into your life. So I'm just excited about this topic today. Just talking about how money manifests. I love sharing stories, and there's so many stories that come in Manifest 10K. You know, sometimes I'll forget about a story, and you know, I always take a picture. Like if I'm in the middle of something and somebody posts a really great story into the Facebook group, I'll always screenshot it. But sometimes, you know, if I'm in the middle of something else, I don't remember to look at it as long as I want, or focus on it, or think about it. And then I'll be going back through screenshots, and I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot about this story. It's so good. And that happens all the time, you know, just because money is constantly flowing into that group. And so I love sharing it with you. I love sharing the stories, and I'm excited to talk to you about the topic today. I'm also excited. Last week, my novella, it's a novella. I call it a novel, but it's a novella, which means it's a short novel, came out. Of course, it hit #1. It was just exciting to see that and experience that, and just watch it be successful and release something new into the world, which is really fun. I'm excited to just see what happens. You know, oftentimes I do things with a lot of intention, and really, my intention is just to impact people's lives with this novella. And so I'm excited to see how that transpires and how that happens. So if you haven't got your copy yet and you're looking for some fiction to read, I would love if you went to Amazon and you purchased Choose Me, written by Cassie Parks, your host of this show. I would love it. Let me know what you think. Share it with those who you think could benefit from reading it. And just thank you for everybody who supported and downloaded it last week. It's a big deal, and I'm very excited about it. So if you are loving this season of the podcast and you want to get Manifest 10,000 in your hands, I know I heard from lots of you, you want the physical book, which I love, because I actually love picking up the physical copy of Manifest 10,000. There's one in front of me right now. You mark your calendars. It's going to be in bookstores May 16th, 2017. And I would really love if you pre-ordered it now. And what that means to you is if you go to manifest10000book.com and you pre-order it from any of your favorite retailers, Amazon, Books A Million, Powell's, Barnes & Noble, and you tell me where you purchased it and you put in the receipt number, I'm going to send you a free copy. So you get buy one, get one free. You get one now. And then when it comes in May, you can you can either keep a second copy for yourself or you can pass it on to someone and pay it forward. And really, I appreciate everybody who is buying the book because, it's how it's going to get in more bookstores. You're really paying it forward and helping someone else find the book. So a quick thank you to Rachel and Lainey and Linda and Brandon and Michelle for pre-ordering. I actually also just got an order for over 100 books. It's 150 plus, I believe. 150 books for a network marketing team. So someone who is a big team in network marketing, she is going to give as a welcome to the team, everyone in her downline, a copy of Manifest 10,000. And her reason is that she knows they're going to have more success if they read the book. And so we're going to do a whole thing with her team about who's read it and watch their success grow for those that read it and implement it. And I'm really excited about that because I love things like that. And I love when people do it together, which is why there's a Facebook group, so that if you're like, well, no one in my life is into the law of attraction or manifesting, or they don't believe this, you have the built-in group if you join Manifest 10K, which you can do at manifest10k.com. And I'm also excited to see what happens with this network marketing team. So if you have a team and reading the book or, listening to the podcast, share it with them. But if reading the book would benefit them, please just get in contact with me. spiraluptoday@aol.com, and you can get a deal. If you want to get that 500 books, or 100 or 500, we'll make a deal and we'll work something out if you want to give them to your team. So just contact me and we'll figure out how to we will create something amazing. We won't figure out how to make it work. We will create something amazing that works for both of us and allows you to empower your team and spread the word about Manifest 10,000. So I would love to do that for anybody who has a team and they want to share and share the love and share the money mojo, right? So I'm excited about that. Contact me if you are interested. Let's see. All right. I think we are ready to talk about how money manifests. And again, so my favorite thing. So when I wrote Manifest 10,000, I put this into 3 different categories, which was like always possible, but unlikely. And then there's totally magical. And then there's winning. And then there's the 4th way, which is really, it generally happens in a combination of all ways, right? Again, most people go into Manifest 10K. I don't know about most people, but the people that I talk to, like, they tell me like, oh yeah, I just imagined, I thought a check would just show up in the mail for $10,000. And so often, sometimes that happens. It's really cool. But often it happens in other ways. It happens through a combination of all these ways. And so I want to talk to them again to open up your channels about what you believe is possible. Get your mind on board. Get you looking for all these ways. Because another thing that I find is that people, sometimes they're just not paying attention until they join the course. And I'm going to share a story with you in the course of the show about that as well. So let's just get into it. So always possible, but unlikely means that that's totally possible. It's different than just like magical, right? Where like money just, I don't know, falls out of the ceiling or falls out of the sky. It's always possible, but it's totally unlikely. One of the questions I get, when I share about Manifest 10K, if somebody is a business owner, I get this question. It's a lot. It's like, well, I get it. If it's a business owner, they could, more money could come into their life. But if it's an employee, how do they manifest more money? They have a salary. Like, how does that happen? First off, that's worrying about the how, right? If you're asking, well, how? I don't understand how more money can come into my life. That's really in that category of controlling that how and thinking about the how. And what you want to do if you're in that place is just jump on over into the place where you focus on manifesting money. And you can do that, I tell you how to do it step by step in Manifest 10,000, or you can join Manifest 10K at manifest10k.com. And I'll tell you and show you what to focus on every day so that you're not focused on the how. Because that's really what takes you out of that magic place, is when you're focused on the how and you're like, okay, well, how is this going to happen? you're looking for the wrong things. But if you're focused on money and welcoming it into your life and doing things that put the focus on money and the fact that it is showing up in your life, money comes in. So anyway, that's one of the questions I always get. And the thing is that it doesn't matter whether you're an entrepreneur. I know most people listening to this are entrepreneurs. Whether you're an entrepreneur or you're, an employee, money can find its way into your life when you allow it, when you welcome it. I've been using welcome on this podcast, and I was doing something where I was writing a lot about welcoming the money. And really it's putting out that welcome mat and saying, okay, I'm ready to receive you. Come on in the house, come on into my life, right? A lot of times people go through life and they want more money, but there's no welcome mat, right? There's no welcoming it. There's no appreciation. There's none of that stuff. So we're really focused on that in this podcast. And of course, I manifest 10,000. So how can it just happen to employees? Again, totally amazing different ways. But one of the ways that it happens is the way that it happened to one of the participants in Manifest 10K, Christine. She got a promotion and a raise totally out of the blue. Nothing was scheduled. Nothing was on the books. She didn't ask for it. They just walked in one day and said, hey, we are going to create this position for you because we want to promote you. We want to give you more money and a better job. Literally walked in. So it was well over, it's close to $20,000 when you add up, her bonus amount increased, the amount she got paid increased, like everything increased. And so it's close to $20,000 that just manifested because she was focused on manifesting $10,000. And I talked about this, I don't know if it was on last show or the show before, how people often will want to go, they want to go for more than $10,000. It's like, oh, no, I think I should go for more. I really want to manifest $100,000. I really want to manifest $20,000. Here's the thing. When you focus on 10,000, it's very likely you'll get more than 10,000, right? And so you can trust the process, and you can trust that you can just, for the first time, when you're learning and you're practicing the system and you're getting the hang of everything, you can focus on 10,000. And often, I'm going to share a couple different stories today about how more than 10,000 showed up. But, in this case, Christine manifested close to $20,000, right? The same thing happened to me, and it was over $10,000. It set the intention for a raise. I wanted a 20% raise, which is kind of out there, right? And raises came and went, and I didn't get it. I got, 5%, maybe. I don't even know if it was 5%. And so I got that, right? So go about 6 months later, all of a sudden I got offered a promotion and a raise, which equaled over 10 grand. Now this was before Manifest 10K existed, but I used the same techniques. I was using the same techniques then. And so what I didn't do, it would have been easy to go, oh, I set the intention for a 20% raise and I didn't get it, right? Because when raises came out, I didn't get it. And I think raises came out at that time in August. Didn't happen. Or maybe June or July. I don't remember. Anyway, sometime in the summer, raises came out and I didn't get it. And I was like, oh, okay. But I didn't get discouraged. And I didn't say oh man, this doesn't work. I've been focusing on my money mindset and hasn't showed up. I was just like, okay, cool. And I just went back to focusing on the things that I was doing, which is everything that I teach in the Manifest 10K course and that is in Manifest 10,000. These were all the things that I was doing. Back then, I just, once I quit my job and I created the course with everything that I had done to create more money in my life. And so I just went back to focusing on things. And one day, my boss walks in and says, hey, we're creating a new position. And I actually technically wasn't really qualified for that position, but someone else had said, offer her the job first, right? And I got the raise and it equaled that 20% that I had wanted, with the promotion. But it came out of nowhere. There was no way I could have seen that just randomly one day, 4 or 5 months after raises came out, somebody was going to offer me a promotion with more money, right? But when you just stay focused on creating money and creating a money mindset of abundance and welcoming money into your life, things like that happen, just like they happened to Christine when she was in the Manifest 10K course. So someone else, I said I would talk about somebody Nan, I don't know if I've told her story yet on this podcast. I think I have. So, she was one of those people who's like, I'm going to go for 100 grand. And I said, I wouldn't do that. That's just go for 10,000, right? Because just like I told you a few minutes ago, you can go for 10,000, you get more than 10,000. Often when you start off in the bat and you haven't manifested, a significant amount of money, you go for 100 grand, it doesn't happen, right? That's exactly what happened with Nan. She said, I'm going to go for 100,000. It didn't happen. She actually lost her job in the middle of Manifest 10K. So talk about, I was talking about how I stayed the course, even when I didn't get the 20% raise, I just kept focusing on my money mindset. But what if you lost your job in the middle of this process? So many people tend that I see, this is where they get off course, right? They go, oh my gosh, it must not be working. I must be doing something wrong, right? And Nan emailed me and she said, I just lost my job. She was about halfway through the course. I don't know what to do. I said, you just keep focusing on the things that are in the program. You just keep doing the things that focus on money and abundance, and especially in this case, keep you from focusing on lack, right? And so she just kept doing it and doing it. And wouldn't you know, she got a check, which is just over $10,000 from her former employer for like some backed vacation and things like that. And then she got a new job, which she liked better. It was more enjoyable. She worked less, and she actually made more money. So stay the course. That's kind of the lesson of this story. And that's how money can happen, right? You can get offered a new job that, pays more. You can get the check that you weren't expecting from your former employer, right? I always love this. Someone in the course, she messaged me one day and she said, she totally told me, everybody's told me they could share the story. But she's like, my husband and I, we made $100,000 on long shot investments. And what I've realized is I just have to focus on the money and it shows up. And that's such an important lesson. And I love it. Love that she shared that story. And then, so here's another story that I love, because when you change, everything changes. So one of my favorite stories is of Jill Angie of Not Your Average Runner. And you've heard me talk about Jill on the show before, but the first thing she ever did was take Manifest 10K, which is the place where most of my clients start. They start in Manifest 10K because that's kind of where you start, right? Increasing her money mindset. And what I love about this story, so Jill was, at that time, she doesn't do this anymore, but she had amazing t-shirts for her tribe. She has this amazing tribe. If you're a runner and you've ever felt like you're not your average runner, go to notyouraverage.runner.com and join her tribe on Facebook. You can find it at her website. Join that tribe and that group. They're amazing, amazing women and so great. And I just love it. And I love Jill to death. So, when Jill first took Manifest 10K, she had, right before the course, she had been looking for a new t-shirt supplier. And it wasn't working out. She was like, it's not going to work out. And what she wanted was for it to be a little bit easier for her to offer this product. And it wasn't working out. So she gave up before she started the course. And then she started the course, and I believe it was about 5 days into the course. And she was doing the exercises, and she got an email from someone who wanted to become her t-shirt supplier. And here's the deal. This is double. It was going to be double for the t-shirts of what Jill was making. So she doubled her money right then, right? It wasn't an instantaneous $10,000, but over time, she's going to get to $10,000 much quicker, right? And this woman was going to do more of the work. So it was actually more than double because Jill didn't have to do the work. And I love this story because so often, again, I go back to this all the time, we think $10,000 has to show up. Money has to show up in the form of a check in the mail made out to us, 1 and 4 zeros, right? But this is one of those examples where just lining up with money, I like it because it shows that, it doesn't have to come in the form of a check and come in the form of, making twice as much money and doing less work. right? And it comes to us. Like this person, Jill had tried to solve this problem on her own, right? She had looked and she had done it, but she wasn't aligned with the more money. As soon as she got aligned with more money and she started practicing the stuff in Manifest 10K, the money came to her. The woman came to her. And that's where the magic is. My favorite thing is when, what I want or what's going to improve my money or whatever it is, whatever I'm trying to attract, comes to me. Like I'm not going out and getting it. It comes to me. Like those are my favorite things. So I love that story for that. And speaking of ways that, when you focus on money and you become different, when you change, everything changes. I'm going to say it again. When you change, everything changes. All of your experiences, what's going on, everything changes. So Sasha, I always like the way she describes this. She says, I was a money hot mess. So she went from a money hot mess to good instincts and someone who could courageously act on her behalf. And really her $10,000 manifestation was really about being able to see the money that was already in her life. She actually looked at things. She was courageous enough to look at things she hadn't looked at in a while and go, oh, this person owes me money. And she was courageous enough to ask and get that money and then some. She had a 401k account or an IRA. I can't remember which one it was. She thought had totally lost everything and went away. It actually quadrupled. But she wasn't paying attention and she wasn't having that in her realm, right? So she's feeling like money's gone. There's none of it. It was right there the whole time, but she needed to see it and look at it different. And sometimes that's the way it happens and I got this email. I love this story. This woman sent me a check. I love getting checks in the mail. So fun. And what she said to me is that I haven't manifested $10,000. She said, but taking the course, I realized I have everything I want and need. Like I realized I can afford everything I want. It just was that mental mind shift that in looking at things differently and really like thinking about it. And she was like, so here's $100 because you showed me that. And it was so awesome. I loved receiving that because, it's changing that sometimes it is money showing up. Sometimes it's actually just shifting your mindset to see like what's in front of you and how much money you have and really being in the place of abundance and I have enough instead of I don't have enough. Because you'll never see all the money that's in front of you when you're in the place of I don't have enough. So love that. The other, so here's another, we're still on, always possible, but unlikely. Someone in the Manifest 10K course, he manifested $4,800 on his house remodel. He got a bid to remodel his kitchen and they went with some more expensive stuff. And so it was actually supposed to be $4,800 more. And at the end, he'd been taking the course. He was like right in the middle of the course. And the contractor said, you know what, you're easy to work with. I'm not going to charge you that extra money that I said I was going to charge you. I have never heard of that happening before. And I've worked with a lot of contractors, but it just goes to show when you get your mind right and your money mindset and you're welcoming money and abundance into your life, all these ways that are always possible but unlikely, money starts showing up that way. It's very fun. Someone else in the course, their family had never helped out before, and she was in a place where her and her fiance were struggling, and her family sent them money, not just $1,000, over $6,000 to help out. Now you can say, well, like they could have always sent that money. It's true, but it hadn't happened before, right? But when you're lined up and you're welcoming abundance, the universe is going to find the path. And sometimes, it's definitely what you think is unlikely. So then there's the total magical ways that money manifests. And I think I shared that story in the last episode, getting almost $2,000 back from a house that I'd purchased 2 years before, just getting that random call that said, hey, we need to send you money. That's those totally magical, which I suppose that still is always possible, but unlikely, but it's just that magical way, like, here you go. This is taken care of, The other way that money manifests, that was totally magical. The other way is by winning. And again, we talked about on the last episode or a couple episodes ago about how most people think you have to win the lottery to get more money and welcome more money into your life. And sometimes winning happens. And there was a guy in the Manifest 10K course, and he just followed his intuition. And it led him to the casino, and he manifested his $10,000 that way. Now, he's the only person I know who's went through the course and did that. Like, some people have winnings here and there, but he really was practicing. And he was also practicing, honing in his intuition and listening and only going in when he was called and things like that. And so that's absolutely possible. It's totally possible that your 10,000, could come from Publishers Clearinghouse or from getting that random lottery ticket. And that's super fun and awesome. But what I find is that more often when you line up with money, when you create money mindset, when you roll out that welcome mat for money, is that it comes in those always possible but unlikely ways. Or it also comes in, some form of always. So when Laura took the course, she manifested $10,000, and she was actually the first person to manifest it with that specific goal. She was one of the first people I said, let's focus on this amount. And it came in all different ways from her. And, she had a list, and she would, write down everything. And I always tell everybody, like, you count everything. Because when you get to like $9,698, you're like, I'm almost there. And so you're like trying to remember, and you're like, oh yeah, that happened. I didn't write down that $10. I didn't write down this. And you're really in that space of it's happening in $10,000. All the money is coming into my life. And I talk about this in Manifest 10,000, writing down that. And you heard from Karin a couple episodes ago, an interview with her where she told about having the sticky note and writing it all down, right? Because it comes in all these different ways. If you're an entrepreneur, which most of you are listening to the show, it can come in the form of new clients. It can come in the form of all these things, but it's also likely to come in all ways, not just one. So open up and know that, money can just like come in from so many different places. And I hope this has helped to really open you up and to see that. We are almost done, but I just wanted to share that I just heard today from a participant in Manifest 10K that she's doubled her business. I'm so excited for her. I'm so excited for the new path that she's on. And that stuff happens all the time, because when you line up with money, you get directed to the shortcut to your dreams and to making more money and to feeling more abundant. When you line up with that, when you get your money mindset right, roll out the carpet, the welcome mat for money. So just before we go, I want to give you a mantra to practice this week, and it's, I allow money to find me. I allow money to find me. Practice it, say it as it feels good, and see how that feels. Just keep practicing. I allow money to find me, and really open up to allowing money to find its way to you, right? Just visualize putting out the welcome mat and just letting it find you and find the place and find the way to bring it to you. Thank you so much for listening to this episode. I will talk to you next time. Have a fabulous rest of your day.
Thanks for joining us on the Happy Ever After show, where you don't need a genie lamp to get your wishes granted. Now that you're inspired and ready to take action, get yourself on the path to your happy ever after by scheduling a complimentary strategy session at createmyhappyeverafter.com.